All right, welcome back to Chess Coffee Hour. It's been kind of a minute since I've had a podcast on. We got a special guest tonight. It's going to be very interesting, I think. A professional pilot here we're going to have on. Never had one of those yet. Kind of interested in this. What your take is on get us an insight to the aviation world. So we're going to bring aboard a Grant Baker. So we're going to bring him aboard now.
Hello, everybody. Good night. Good evening.
Right? Yeah, wherever you're listening from. Well, Grant, first of all, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming aboard. So, and I want before we forget, I want to wish you a happy 4th of July just coming up, believe it or not. So,
yeah, a couple days.
Yeah, that's kind of scary how fast the time's going. So,
yep.
You got any big plans or anything?
Oh, we're doing some stuff with family. Yeah, I'm we're gonna make some homemade ice cream. We've got some black raspberries that grow in the trees
nice.
right by our house. So I picked a whole bunch of those. Gonna make some black raspberry ice cream, and I'm gonna make a black raspberry cheesecake thing. So yeah,
oh man, good. That sounds real good. I love blackberries. Now, do you have one of those ninja creamers or creamies, whatever they call them?
No, this is the old school, just old ice cream maker. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like to have those ninja creamers, but man, things are like $200 some. I think they're out $200, but they're nice. They look really nice. But I remember mom used to make that when I was a kid. A big old, looked like a bottom of a barrel. Had a big old loud machine on it, dumped a bunch of ice in there.
Yep.
And it tasted real. I mean, it kind of fake compared to what the stuff is I had in the box when you get older. But yeah, the Ninja Creamies really did a good job. So I like that. Maybe someday I'll get one of those.
Right.
That sounds real good though. Blackberry. That sounds good stuff.
Yeah, we made a batch a week or so ago, and it was delicious.
I bet.
Yeah.
Does it grow fresh around where you're at, or you buy them at the store on the berries?
Oh yeah, they grow right in my woods here, right by my house. They're in my yard. Yeah,
I'm jealous. I used to love picking those and stuff when I was a kid, the blackberries and stuff. I remember like it was bad though because I'd be like put some in the barrel, or whatever, the basket or what I had, and I'd be eating some on the I'd eat some. I'd eat about. Oh yeah. If I'd every two I picked, I'd probably eat one or two as well.
I know. So. I had to pick most of them myself because the kids would just eat them all.
Yeah. Hey, I did too. I admit. I mean, back then, and I don't know, back then, there's like always spiders around those things for some reason. I remember seeing a lot of webs around those berries, but I guess the spiders liked them too. So
yeah. Lots of bugs in there to eat.
A little extra protein, I guess, on the insects.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting started here. So we're kind of, like I said, it's just whatever it is. Just got a first thing I like to do when I have people on is kind of give us your background, Grant, like, where you're from and how you got to where you are, I guess, at this point in time.
Yeah, sure. Well, I grew up in Southwest Kansas. If you split Kansas into thirds, we'd be on like the western third and then just a couple miles from Oklahoma. So way out in the middle of nowhere. Not a lot of people out there, and so obviously not a lot of aviation. Although we were, I grew up on a farm, and the farm was just about a mile or so south of the center of a military training route.
Okay.
So, with some regularity, we'd see, jets, Lear jets, and other training jets fly over. After 9/11 happened, there was a lot of helicopter activity and whatnot. I remember a couple of times seeing huge convoys out practicing. So I think that helped, keep the fire alive for aviation. But I went to Heston College, which is a 2-year Mennonite college in Heston, Kansas, and they have an aviation program there. So I went through their program, instructed there for a little bit, and then did aerial photography, mapping stuff, and Cessna 206s. And then I got the job I currently have, which is flying corporate. And so I've been here for 11 years. Started out in Piper Saratogas, and then they moved to a Cessna 421, and then the PC-12 in 2020. So.
Okay, so you actually went to like a flight school, then you didn't just like go to an airport and then take the lessons on your own time, basically, right?
Right. So I did it at college, which the benefit of that is it opened up funding from the government, Sallie Mae, normal student loans, where you don't have access to that if you go to just what we call Part 61 school.
That's what I was thinking. I remember that number down, that terminology.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I don't know who else on the stream, who else pilots and whatnot, but everybody is tested to the same standard, whether you go to your local airport or whether you go to a college. But the 141 or the college program is a little more structured. The FAA has a little more oversight on how things are done. And Part 61 is you do it at your own pace. You do, it can take you as long as you want. So yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages of both, but I did 141. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Now 141, does that also cover like just strictly pilot schools or pilot academies too? I mean, that's 141 as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, these are
okay.
Part
like
61
Blue Aviation.
and Part 141 of the regulations, and those federal regulations cover flight training. Yep.
Okay, I was watching a podcast for Blue Aviation, I think that it was, and I clicked their link and looked at their school, and it was, that's all they did. Is you can go to private pilot all the way up to commercial and all that on theirs too. Like I said, yeah, the cost is, like you said, the cost is, it is a little pricey, but like you said, I think you said that the one big advantage is that probably the amount of flying time that you did, you're consistent. You're not like, okay, well, I can go this week here at my local airport, but I won't be able to go next week. So maybe the following week, I think maybe the consistency would be more too if you went to one of those actual flight schools like you did.
Yeah, it can really depend. It really depends on what school you go to. I mean, some schools are so big, they have so many people that they have too many people for how many airplanes they have. So, and some of the local airports, like I'll brag on our local airport here at Goshen. We've got a great flight school. I don't remember how many. They're like 6 or 8 planes. So they're pretty busy. It's all Part 61. So they're not a 141 program, but it's very well run. But you never know what you're going to get with those. There's a lot of good ones out there. I'm not knocking on any of them, but you can get good Part 61 and bad. You get good and bad in either one. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like, and how good the instructor is and how well, I guess, you mesh with that instructor, because you just may not get along, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
So yeah, I think so down here in Marion, I don't know how many instructors there are. I don't know how many actual planes there are. Like I said, I did it's been many years ago. And I can't remember what the instructor's name was, but he had a twin brother. Kind of a big guy. It was real nice, but he was one that I started, and I didn't get very far in it, obviously, but I kind of regret doing that. And I was going to try to get back into it not too long ago. I went and got the third class medical, got that all cleared out of Kokomo. Actually, there's a flight doctor. He's an eye doctor, but he's also a flight doctor as well.
Yeah.
And it was the closest one as one I could get in the quickest. So that was real easy and painless, at least for, the third class. I don't know how high what all the first class entails, but so.
Yeah, it seems pretty much the same. At least when you're younger, they have stricter requirements that I don't know all the details of that, but yeah.
Now, do you have to go once a year for that medical examination?
Yeah. So for a commercial pilot, you have to have at least a second class medical. Okay. And those are valid for 1 year.
Okay. So it's second. I was thinking it was going to be first for some reason.
No, I don't have to have a first class. I believe, don't quote me, the airlines, you might have to have a first class. But for me, I only need a second class.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look up regs to see for sure what the time frame on those are. But
yeah, I can't remember all that too. So what all ratings do you currently hold now as far as the training?
I have airline transport pilot, ATP, multi-engine, and commercial single engine, and certified flight instructor and CFI instrument. So I'm an instrument instructor. Okay. So do you do the CFI on the side too as well? I haven't in a few years. Okay. Yeah, but I keep it current. It's a good thing to keep current. If you let your CFI lapse, then you have to take the check ride all over again. If you keep it current, yeah, you can take
You don't want to do that. Or I mean, that was kind of, I never done it, but just hearing about it and thinking about it always kind of intimidated me. That check ride, just, oh my gosh, I'd be nervous. You'd be more nervous than getting your driver's license. Oh
yeah, it's an ordeal. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to have 6-8 hour CFI initial check rides. Yeah.
Wow, because there's like a lengthy. It's like a 2-part. It's like a lengthy on the ground part of it, and then of course obviously go in the plane and and test the skills out as well, I'm sure.
Yep. For every rating, there's an oral exam that you do before you go fly, and then there's a practical exam. But for the oral exam for a flight instructor, they want you to teach a couple lessons, and each lesson can be 30, 40 minutes depending on the topic. So it can be a very lengthy thing, and then they have they want to make sure you know what you're talking about, because you're teaching people, you got a big responsibility there. So
absolutely, yeah. If you're going to teach people, you better know what you're doing too. So now that was also another check ride too, right? To be a CFI, was there another one involved in that?
Yeah, CFI, that's a big check ride. CFII instrument instructor is not quite as involved, because you've already proven that you can teach. You just have to prove that you can teach instruments. So yeah, it's not quite as involved, but.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because you got most of it out of the way. The hard part of it, I guess, the fundamentals and stuff down with that, right, instead of just instruments. But now, I wonder do you have any idea? Like, I can't think what they call the check ride people that come out and do that.
Yeah, a designated pilot examiner, or a DP.
Yeah, DPI. That's what that. Yeah, that's what kind of training do they have to have? I mean, who do they have to do a check ride? I mean, how do they get that? How do they get to that level, I guess? Do you have any idea? I'm just curious.
I don't know all the details. I know that they have to administer check rides with somebody from the FAA observing. So they have to do observed rides. And there's only a certain number of DPEs per FSDO, or Flight Standard District Office. Those are regions that the FAA controls. I don't know what all is involved. It always seems like there's a shortage of them. I read online, people are always complaining about long lead times getting check rides and stuff. And we have one here at Goshen. He's not at Goshen, but the guy that we use most, or they use most, he dedicates a couple days a week to us. And so there's lots of availability, but not everybody has that.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's another thing I'm hearing about, like, how people are waiting to get a check ride, to reserve him, I guess, because like you said, there's only so many to go around. Then you got to worry about weather and stuff like that, and all that fun stuff. So
absolutely.
I got quite a few questions here. Like I said, how did you get interested in flying? What gave you the bug, so to speak?
That's a hard question to answer. Flying is something I've been interested in as long as I can remember. I don't know. I didn't have anybody in my life that was a pilot. I didn't know any pilots. There wasn't a lot of aviation activity, like I mentioned.
Right.
I do remember one time when I was pretty young. I was probably like, first or second grade, maybe. There was a guy that was a crop duster in the area, and he gave rides at our local county fair. And I remember taking a ride in that. So I'm sure that helped. And then there was a book that I had read, and a story that I was familiar with. It was called The End of the Spear. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or are familiar with it.
No, I have not.
Yeah, so it's the story of some missionaries in Ecuador in the 50s, I believe. There was 4 of them. One or two of them were pilots, and there was a tribe down there that they were starting to make contact with, and they used the airplane to do that. And they figured out, how if you spin a rope, there'll be points of it where it's still and it has loops. So they figured out the point of that, and they could lower a bucket and fly the airplane in a circle and have the bucket be still, so they could, kind of make contact with them, because they didn't speak the same language. So they would give gifts, and then they started giving gifts back. So they, had a reciprocal friendship, and they flew out into the jungle to meet them. And through some miscommunication and some lies that were told by some of the people in the tribe, people from the tribe came out and murdered them all. And the wives of the husbands ended up going in and making contact with the tribe and sharing the gospel with them and stuff. So that story, and mission aviation in general, that was always something that I thought I might like to do someday. So I'm not totally discounting that, but at this point in life, I've got 4 kids and
Right. Yeah.
family, but
yeah, I didn't know if, what your status was. I mean, you're pretty happy with where you are. Did you have any, is there any future plans and, going elsewhere or do anything else or?
No, either mission aviation or corporate is what I wanted to do. So yeah, I feel kind of like I'm where I want to be. I'm not going to discount or totally write off mission aviation at some point in my life, but yeah, for now, I'm happy where I'm at.
Right. Now, is that something like a bush pilot or is that something different?
Yeah, a lot of bush
Okay.
flying. Yep. There's now they use Quest Kodiaks a lot. I did spend a summer up in Alaska with the mission organization, and they fly around to a lot of the different villages, bringing supplies and whatnot. And they use King Airs and Navajos up there.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching a guy on YouTube. I can't remember the name of his channel, but it's a bush pilot, and he lands in some really remote stuff. I mean, these little grass strips up on these mountains and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're probably talking about missionary bush pilot.
I think it might be him. Yeah, it's like, oh man,
he's over in Papua New Guinea, and he flies a Quest Kodiak over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's some intense flying.
Yeah, that does. That's I don't tell about stress though. I mean, there's no room for error then, So
right.
Yeah,
yep.
There's quite a few. Like I said, I mean, I'm just really into aviation buff. I mean, I was in the Air Force. I didn't fly or anything like that, but I mean, I could sit there and watch, these your channel, other pilots, taking off and landing at these different airports and just listen to the radio traffic. I don't know if that's weird or not, but it's kind of like an aircraft nerd, I guess. But I can sit there and watch that for hours, watch the live cams from the airports and things like that. It's just fascinating to me.
Right.
Really
yeah,
is.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just something it's just really something to see. I always enjoyed it. So sometimes I guess I fall asleep to that too sometimes, hear all the call signs and things like that. So what's your favorite airplane that you've flown? Which one do you like the best?
Oh man, Pilatus PC-12, takes the cake pretty easily. I love this airplane. It's an awesome performer for single engine. It performs fantastic. It can haul a lot. It can go out of short strips. It can mix in with, flight training traffic. So when I come back to Goshen and there's a lot of flight training activity, I don't have any issue, slowing down and making room if I need to, or mixing right into the pattern. And it's right at home also flying into a Bravo with all the airline traffic. We can keep the speed up,
Right. Yeah.
Final. So yeah, I just love flying. It's a great flying airplane. It's airplane.
Yeah, a lot different. Now, did you train in that originally at the school, or did you training like most people seem like they train in the Cessna 172s and things like that?
Oh yeah, no, you got to train in something smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, insurance won't cover you until you got quite a bit of time. So yeah, you'd be uninsurable in a PC-12 right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true. I probably wouldn't have the rating for it either. I wouldn't think either.
Yeah, right off the bat, it's got too much horsepower, and so you would need a high performance endorsement and also a high altitude endorsement and a complex endorsement to be able to fly it. But technically, legally, you could do all your training in that, and the CFI could give a primary student, like somebody working on their private pilot license, you can get all those endorsements, but no insurance company is going to insure you for anything for that.
Yeah, that's probably kind of important. So
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
I was kind of worried about because around here, I think they got the 172s that they train in here. So
that's the one that people learn in.
Yeah, that's one that I was in. With the old original, 6-pack and all that stuff. Of course, now they, some are equipped with some really nice avionics. They got all the digital screens and things like that. But so that probably helps out a ton. But used to instead of looking at the old original 6-pack there, checking everything out. So
yep.
Now you plan on going to Oshkosh this year, next month, or actually it's this month now?
Yeah, this month. We are going up on Thursday. The boss loves aviation. He loves going up there. So fly him and some other people up on Thursday for the day. If any of you guys are up there, come say hi if you see me.
And
I'll be wearing the shirt. So
it's not this Thursday, right? It's the end of the month isn't it?
Correct. Yeah, it's the 25th.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that looks like that would be a blast. I was going to try to get up there this year, but any hotel around there was pretty far away. So I thought, nah,
Oh
I'll just
yeah,
wait till next year and book one a lot early. I waited way too long to get one
yeah,
because
yeah. You
there's
got to
just
book way ahead. I mean,
yeah.
with so many thousands of people coming, yeah.
Oh man, you watch videos of there's so I can't believe how many planes there is. I would not want to be air traffic control that day.
No way. It's the
Mm-mm.
busiest airspace in the world for that week.
Yeah, it probably makes Chicago Air look like this airport out here that day.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that would be fun. I enjoy. We have that local show here that they the fly in cruise in that they do every year around Labor Day weekend. You know,
Okay.
it's not near that, but it was a lot of fun. It's still a lot of fun because you see a lot of planes come in, and there's cars there and stuff too. But last year I actually got to ride in a helicopter at Army Huey, which I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that real well because I'd never been in a helicopter, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. That was pretty good. So I had fun, a lot of fun doing that. So
Yep. I've never been in a Huey, but it would be a lot of fun.
yeah. Um, what plane do you think you'd like to fly if you wasn't flying the one you're in now? Is there anyone that you wish you'd like to try sometime?
I mean, I'd like to get a type rating. I guess when I, first started my career, I thought, man, it'd be cool to be one of those guys that's flown like every, possible airplane out there. But
Right.
that's not how most careers go, and certainly not how mine has gone. So, but yeah, it'd be fun to fly a jet or two, and
Right.
something aerobatic. I did an upset recovery training course one time, which is uh, a course that kind of teaches you how to get out of situations where, like, if you end up upside down or something like that.
Mm,
And we did
yeah.
that in an aerobatic airplane, and I mean, that's the most fun I've had in an airplane in my life. That was a blast.
Yeah. Wasn't scared at all.
Not at all. No.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little more intense than like what training in stalls and spins and stuff. That let you do in the regular
Yeah,
private
yeah.
pilots.
Yep, a little bit. I mean, we did, I don't think we did spins, but yeah, we did, you know, I closed my eyes and he would have me turn the airplane some way, or he would do it and, would open your eyes and you end up upside down. You got to figure out how to recover.
Uh,
And yeah, but
Man, was you in one of the simulators before you did the hands on, or is it all hands on?
nope, just hop in the airplane and go. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, you've had a lot of flight experience, but prior to that, anyway, so it made it a little bit easier, I guess.
Yeah.
With none looking at that, just like, well, I don't know about that. That I'd probably, no, I don't know about that. That get me a little bit weary of that. So,
Yeah.
but that sounds interesting though, in a way. So yeah, so no plans to like work for like Delta or United or anything like that.
No,
So
the airlines never really held too much lure for me. I won't say never, but
right,
yeah, that was never something I aspired to do.
yeah. I like next year we're going out to Nantucket next year for vacation when I'm in October, and I definitely want to fly Cape Air because they've got the old Cessna 402s out there still flying those things.
Yeah.
And I've watched the show Wings way back in, it was in the early 90s when it came out. Loved that show. And I thought, I want to land at that airport. I want to go out there and see that. So I thought in the Cape Airs, that's who actually owned that plane that they used for the show. I kind of, just did some, because I like filming location videos and things like that. I do a little bit myself. So I followed the history of that plane, and that's who actually owned it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I want to get there. It's not very expensive. I think it was only like $50 and 100 round trip for just out to the island and back from. I think they fly out of Hyannis or something like that, right in that area. So it's not too bad of a flight. But I want to get in one of those, and of
Yeah.
course, obviously those there's no assigned seatings. They obviously have to go by weight since it's a small plane.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
yes, so that's going to be interesting, I think, to do. But I'm looking forward to that real well. So
Yeah.
that's kind
That'd be a blast.
yeah, it'll be a good time. That's what we're doing next. Like I say, next October. So,
Cool.
um, what's been your favorite airport you went to? Like the neatest or the one you like the best? I guess.
Yeah. There's a couple cool ones I've been to. There's oh, now I'm gonna forget the name of it. Peter O'Knight, which is down in St. Petersburg. There we go. St.
Oh,
Petersburg,
okay.
Florida. One of the runways kind of sticks out in the water a little bit, so that one's a fun one to land
Oh,
at.
wow.
I've been into Aspen and Jackson Hole. Those are really cool airports. Eagle, cool airport. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I've been into O'Hare and Midway and Atlanta. Those are really big and can be really busy.
Yeah.
But those are impressive, and just because the controllers handle everything so smoothly, and it almost is a non-event, unless things are going wrong if somebody messed up. But most of the time, they keep their spacing so well that it seems pretty much just like normal day at the
Right.
office. But
Yeah. I mean, for
Yeah.
them, it would be difficult. I mean, like I said, they do it all the time. I just wonder how they keep track of all those, or all that traffic at one time, So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they do it very well. They have arrival gates, they call them. So they have certain areas that they funnel people into. And the approach controllers have radar so they can space everybody out. But they do it so well. And, I'm thinking of the time I was at Atlanta, and there's just a line of traffic coming in. And they were landing this way, but I was coming from this direction. And they spaced it out so that they squeezed me in between some people and just right in like it was no big deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
really
pretty
good.
wild. Yeah, they'd have to be. Yeah, that's pretty neat how they do that though. Hold the pattern or whatever.
Right.
So
and of course we've flown into Oshkosh a few years now. That's an awesome experience. That's not so much the airport itself, just the event.
Yeah. You see everything up there. I mean, there's everything you can think of up there.
Oh, yeah.
Military jets and stuff are up there, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And then every kind of plane under the sun. You see them all over, see them all on there. Now, do you watch any other YouTube channels, or you just kind of too busy for all that and do your own work?
Yeah, I don't watch too much. Every once in a while I'll try to watch somebody. I follow a couple just to kind of see what they're up to. But yeah, I don't have a lot of time with kids and everything to
right.
spend a whole lot of time.
Plus your job, and then you're doing your own channel, all the editing and stuff on that. So
right, yeah.
Yeah. There's like I said, there's a few. I said I'll definitely watch your channel. Like I said, Citation Max has a pretty good channel. I like Aviation 101 with Josh, and also like Angle Attack with Chris up in Alaska. I don't know how we can live up there. I was stationed up there for 3 years. I don't think anybody can live up there. It's just not my kind of. I mean, it's the scenery is awesome. The fishing's good, but the weather's terrible. The weather's absolutely horrendous. I'm not into snow 7 months out of the year, 8 months sometimes. I'm not into that.
Right.
It's just because the warmest it got there when I was there was like 73, and I'm thinking, this is spring. This ain't summer. I'm used to some warm weather. So I was kind of glad to get out of there. So
yeah, were you based in Anchorage?
Yeah, Elmendorf. Right outside Anchorage. Yep.
They have a good air show up there.
Yeah. I went to that a couple of times. It was right on base, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
In fact, they had the F-117 on display there. I thought it was pretty cool. You couldn't get right up to it because it was, still really classified, but that was there. I remember seeing that one. That was really cool. That's probably one that and the SR-71 are probably my two favorite planes. I just love the stealth product. Black projects. Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are really cool airplanes. Yeah.
And then I got a diecast sitting over there. It's the F-15 or not F-15. It's the YF-22 because that's the Alaska because the diecast shop had you can actually get a plane for different squadrons at like different air bases with the real markings and everything, which I think is pretty cool. So I got the one that was since I was stationed up there, I went and got that one. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, because the other base up there is it's Eielson, and it's further up north.
Okay.
I never made it up there. It's now up there. It can get totally dark in the winter, and then totally light in the summer. Where we were at, it never quite got that. Now, I remember like it wouldn't get pitch black like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning would around here. you would still need headlights, but if you look out, you know, the horizon, you can still see like mountains and like, you know, buildings and things. You can still make that out, which you know you can't do here at 1 o'clock in the morning. But there you could, but you'd
Right.
still need lights because it's too dark to drive without it.
Yep.
And then, you know, so it never really got. But up there, I mean, I guess it's dark, you know, for like hours, you know, because I got up there in a January, and it was one of the worst times to get up there.
Right.
And you know, we're in this new orientation training. I thought, man, we've been here for hours. And sitting like it's still dark out there. It looks like it does look like it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I look, and there's like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and it's still dark. I was like, what is going on out here? You know,
Yeah,
it's a shock. You know, it's pretty much a shock. Because, but then I said when then my buddy picked me up at the airport to take me to the base, and I first arrived there, I remember it was cold and you see moose out here laying around. I was like, it was a culture shock, you know. It's something it's something I think everyone should probably see, but if you want to go to that, I'd say you go in the summer months for sure, because winter's not pleasant. You know, Halloween, you know, we're up there, there's ice over everything, inches of ice laying all over everything. It's like this, and there's kids right here trick-or-treating. I thought, oh my gosh, this is nuts. Right. You know. No thanks. Yeah, they're used to it, you know. So
yeah, for sure.
Some people, like I said, they'd retire out of the Air Force up there, and then they'd stay up there. I don't know why. I had a good friend of mine who lived in Texas, and I met him up there. He was stationed up there and became good friends. And then he got out before I did. He went back home to Texas, and then a few years later, he moves back up there. I said, man, have you lost your mind? he loves it up there. He moved back up there. I was like, you left that nice warm Texas weather for this. But hey, some people, you know, they love that stuff, you know. But
yeah, I was only there for 6 weeks in the summer, and I loved it. But
okay, yeah, you know, that's the time to be there. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we were down in Soldotna on the Kenai Peninsula.
Okay,
but yeah. I haven't experienced a winter. That might change my tune a little bit.
Yeah, no, you go there. You went there at the right time. It's like, you know, it's unless you like the cold, but that's, you know, because I think there's actually only one road in and one road out of the state.
Yeah,
you know, they used to be that way. I know they may have built one, but I remember when I was up there, yeah, there was one road in, one road out. I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's because it is because they actually consider that an overseas tour in the Air Force. It's so far away, you know, from everything.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. You look at the map, and it's like way up there. But but it was something to see, I guess. You know, I definitely would take that. So
yeah.
Well, since we did your favorites, what's if you want to say them on here, you don't have to. What's your least favorite places that you flew in? I mean, you know what I mean?
Man, I was thinking about this. What are my favorites? It's hard for me to pick favorites because I enjoyed them all.
Right. Yeah. It'd be neat to see new things too, for sure.
Yeah. Right. I like experiencing new things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, my least favorite airports. I don't know if I really have any. Everything, it's always an adventure, even, you know, the tiny little airports. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so
right.
You know, I think most people would say, you know, this little airport that just had a little shack with, you know, a bathroom and that's it might be their least favorite. But I don't know, it kind of reminds me of home a little bit. My home airport, I mean, I didn't learn to fly there, but you know, if I go fly back home to visit my family, my parents back in Kansas, it's just one runway, a hangar that can't even fit my airplane, and literally a shack with a little building with bathrooms and a guest logbook. So yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me too much. I guess there's one airport in Detroit that we fly to sometimes, and the people there are always really nice, but all they had for the longest time was just hard plastic chairs to sit in, and it's one big room and it's tile floor, so it's really echoey. And you know, if you're sitting there all day, that's not great.
Right. No,
that'd probably be towards the bottom of my list.
Yeah, it don't sound too fun. What's your normal typical layover like when you land somewhere?
Oh, most of my trips are, well, this year's been a little different. We've had more multi-day trips, but over the past 11 years, most of it's been out and back trips. So I'll fly out in the morning, leave, you know, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, something like that. And then spend a few hours on the ground while people do their business, and then home by 5. That's kind of a normal day. Although there's some, where they're long days, but most of them, the point of them having the airplane is so they can do business and be home, not to spend, all day there. So.
Right. I guess my next question, like, what exactly are you transporting in these planes? It sounds like people, evidently, right?
Yep, people, either the owners of
Okay.
the company or employees. The
Okay.
company I work for is in manufacturing, so there have been a few times where I'll fly some parts somewhere, but most of the time it's people.
Okay. Make it for like business and stuff type meetings and different conferences they have, I'm assuming.
Yep, conferences or go visit a customer or a supplier or different meetings. Yep.
Are you working like 5 days a week or 4 days a week or?
I mean, it really varies. This week I didn't have any flights. I had some other paperwork kind of office stuff I needed to catch up on, but next week I've got 4 days of flying. It averages out to around 2 days a week of flying, plus all the other management of the airplane I do, and I clean it and wash it and everything. So
Okay. Yeah, you want to, that's good though. We have kind of like ownership of it as well.
yep,
You
it's like my airplane, except I don't get to choose where it flies and I don't have to pay for
know. Well, that second part might not be so bad. I wouldn't want to know what that would cost.
Right. Yeah.
But that's true. That's true. I would definitely want to know what that would be. Now, if you weren't flying, what do you think you'd be doing right now? Anything else that you might think you'd be doing besides the pilot?
Yeah, I don't know. Engineering type stuff I find interesting. Computer stuff I found interesting. I have a website that I run and manage. It's a logbook for pilots that I built myself. I do all the work on that. So I don't know, maybe something along those lines would probably be it. But probably something with computers or engineering.
Okay, like an IT type position,
probably, or a programmer, probably.
Okay, yeah, you'll have to email with that link for the logbook. I can post that too as well, and put all your other links if you like. You can see we can.
I'll drop it in the chat here. Hopefully that was the right one. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely like to, set that. I like to people I've had come on get their, contacts too. I always like to get that so people know where they can reach it or whatever. Yeah, I didn't know you did that did that as well. That sounds like that was pretty interesting. So you actually build the websites.
Yeah, I did everything for that one.
Okay.
I mean, some of it was, putting together some other libraries. It wasn't like I wrote every single line of code in there, but the vast majority of it I did. Yeah, I kind of started that project because I was interested in, web design and programming, and I wanted to teach myself database stuff. So yeah, it's a website that you can access on your phone or your computer, and it stores all your stuff in a database. So yeah.
Okay. Like an app for that.
Yeah, there's not an app, but you can access it through any internet connected device.
There's like an app for about everything anymore now. If you just look around, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, you can do an app for that and app for this. I mean, because we just recently went to New York and there's an app for the subways and tells you exactly where to go and what to get on. And it's just, I'm glad there's that stuff because, come from the Midwest, I'd be lost. I'd still be there trying to find my way back to where I came from. That town. And have you ever walked the streets of New York?
I mean, I've been there maybe twice. I haven't spent a lot of time there. I feel like it'd be pretty easy to get lost, though.
Yeah. You don't drive in there. We drive in, park the truck, or we parked the truck, left it, and until we left, because you walk, you subway, and you Uber, because it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's a different world over there, but it's one of those things, like I said earlier about Alaska. I think everybody should at least experience once in their life to say, yeah, I've been there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to see. I mean, it's like the town never sleeps. People are just walking everywhere. It's like, where are they going?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, it don't matter what time of day it is, going this way, that way, everywhere. So
yeah, I think both times I was there, we were. It was when I was doing the mapping stuff, and we were based out of Islip, out on the spit of land that goes out towards to the east. There, we took the train into the city.
Okay,
and so we didn't drive in there at all. But
no,
yeah, I can't imagine driving in there.
No, I didn't have to go very far, thank goodness. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like people driving these buses. Like, how you driving one of these buses in this thing? And I don't know. They do. I mean, the Ubers get you around. They know what they guess they know, and you just gotta not like here. There's really not a whole lot of etiquette or road rules there. Just force your way in, or you're never going to get in. You're just gonna
Right.
be stuck there. So
Yeah.
it's definitely different. So,
Yep.
but now, do you ever just go on like a pleasure flights, or do you um just
Yeah. I get a little bit of use of the airplane, so uh, I don't go fly just to fly, but we'll fly. We usually take a trip back out to Kansas to visit my folks, take the family out, or last year flew my wife up to Mackinac Island for our anniversary, stuff like that.
okay? So, but they let you use that jet then?
Yeah,
Okay, that's nice.
it
Yeah,
is a very nice benefit. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's heck yeah, it is. That's like it's like a company car. I guess you can't company plane.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's
That-
not unlimited use, but
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they're letting you do it. I guess that's better than than not letting you use that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
what's been your trickiest landings? Have you anything stands out like, oh man, I don't know about this one, because the last video you did something about a butter landing or whatever.
Yeah, that was one of my smoothest.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. I mean, the Pilatus takes a lot of the credit for that. The landing gear on there. Uh, I mean, it makes almost every landing feel smooth, but that one in particular was a greaser. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get it just right where even I can barely feel when we touch down. Those are smooth, but yeah, in the Pilatus, I haven't had too many that were really too bad. There was one, actually, I think it was a flight I posted before that one, down to Marco Island, where the winds were, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing, if it was me or the winds, but yeah, that one was kind of plopped it on a little bit. I've had a couple of those. Seems like you go have a streak of really good landings and a streak of bad
Right.
ones. But yeah, I haven't had any that I can think of that I was really thinking, wow, I need to not do that again.
All right. Well, that's good though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You watch some of these landings, you're like, oh man, it kind of made me nervous. I watched one the other day. Some guy was landing, I think in Sweden or somewhere. It's like it looked pretty rough. It looked like
yeah,
it looked pretty bad. So, like when I was
right.
taking my Discovery flight that time, and I wish I could remember that guy's name. It's going to bother. I'll think of it as soon as this is over. You know how that is. You can't forget. You can't remember
Yeah,
a name until you get off. But
right.
we starting to land at, and then he's like, well, I better take this one because this is a little bit hairy here, and he kind of had a fight a little bit coming down. I thought, I'm glad he probably took over, because I don't know if I could have done it or not. It probably wouldn't have been too pretty, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
like on the Discovery flight. I remember it must have got some kind of funky wind kind of coming through there and messing with stuff, but he took over and landed it and landed it real well. So,
yep.
you have any tips for like somebody getting wanting to get into it, and advice or anything for newcomers?
Yeah, I mean, go give it a shot. Almost any uh, um, flight school out there will do a discovery flight, which is just a kind of a short flight to get you in the pilot seat, get you on the controls and flying a little bit so you can see if you like it. I know my personality is, if I was to decide that I was going to be a professional pilot and I started my pilot training with that in mind, I would not want to give up. So, my advice to people that I've talked to is, give yourself an out in the beginning. Do the discovery flight. If you like it, get your private pilot license. And if you still like it, yeah, be a pro pilot. Unless but take it in small steps, and before you sink $80,000 into it and decide
Right.
you don't like it. I mean, a private pilot license is not cheap, but it's within reach of most people. I I don't know for sure, I guess, but I would say it's probably between $8,000 and $10,000. And there's a lot of people that have that and upgrades to their trucks around here. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And
so yeah,
that probably varies too, depending on, like, how often you fly. as well. How many
Yeah.
hours somebody might take a little longer to learn, tricks or whatever like that. So
Yeah. Yep. It definitely, everybody goes at their own pace. It's not, you have to have a certain number of hours. You have to have at least 40 flight hours before you can
okay,
take your check ride. But, your instructor is not going to send you for your check ride unless you're ready. So, they're going to make sure that you're ready because it reflects on them too. Um, so yeah, it's most people I think have the capacity to learn how to fly. Not everybody, I guess, could be a Chuck Yeager, but
right,
yeah, some people will take a little longer, and that's fine. But doing it regularly, like once a week, or a couple times a week, even is the best way to do it. You can do it in the shortest amount of time and the least money. But if you can only go once every other week, that's fine too. Just do it at your
yeah.
own pace.
Now the written test, that's something that's done on a different day than I'm assuming like the check ride itself is, isn't it? The written part.
Right. Yep. So you
Okay.
have to pass. You have to take your written exam, and then any questions that you get wrong, you have to go over with your instructor, and they have to give you an endorsement that says that they reviewed the mistakes with you, and then you take that to your check ride when you go, and so the DPE will review. He'll probably hit kind of a little bit harder on the questions that you missed, the topics
Yeah.
that you were a little weak on. Make sure you figured out what you're talking about. But yeah.
Now is that test, or is it written? Is it on computer? Is it still handwritten?
No,
Or
it's all on computer. Yeah.
okay.
So you have to go to a place that can proctor those tests. You can't just do it at
Okay.
home. But
Right. I don't even know who would do that around here. I probably have to go to Fort Wayne or Indy, I'm assuming, around here.
you can come up to Goshen. We do them at the Goshen Airport.
Okay.
Yeah. So they actually do not only aviation tests, they also proctor tests for for the Postal Service and some others.
Okay. See, Ivy Tech does that here with the postal exams, and then they do the like the certifications for computers as well. There, I don't know if they do those or not. I'd have to look into that. I don't know.
Yeah, they might be able to do aviation ones also.
Yeah, because I know there's I know you took that. That's what I did the A plus and A plus certification for computers when I went there at Ivy Tech. Because that's where they did it. It was all like computer, and you keep going, and if this thing shuts you off, you pass, because it's like there's a percentage you got to do, but if you over that percentage, they just cut you off. So like let's just say there was 30 questions, but if you get enough to pass, you don't have to answer all 30. They just shut you off, and then you can, you did it because you can hear that computer printing off the score. So that's always a good sound to hear. I remember that when I took that test. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah, I don't know how that. I don't think that probably works the same way. You probably have to answer them all, but I know that's how the other one worked.
Yep, you got to answer them all.
Yeah. So and then the actual check ride day, you do the oral part of it on the ground, and that's where you set out what the cross country trip they call it, whatever, and then you do all that, and then you go over stuff, and they ask you a bunch. I'm sure they probably drill you with questions on all kinds of things from weather to airspace and all that stuff. Correct?
Yep, yeah, you'll hit on airspace and weather and systems of the airplane. They'll have you explain some different systems, make sure you understand your aircraft, and then you have to plan a cross country as part of your check ride, and so he'll have you go over the planning and tell him all the stuff you did and what decisions you made, and then you go on the flight, and you will go on start the cross country, and then at some point fairly early on he'll divert for some reason. He'll have you divert to another airport, make sure you can figure out how to get from where you're at to some other airport.
Okay.
So yeah, and then do some other maneuvers.
Is that pretty tricky? I mean, you have to divert like that.
Probably
not for you now, but
well, it might be harder for me now. Now I have if I had to do it with steam gauges, now I'm used to having a map and everything and ForeFlight on an iPad, and it makes everything really easy. Back when I did my check ride, iPads weren't a thing, tablets weren't a thing, electronic flight bags weren't a thing. So yeah, it's just a piece of paper, a paper map, and we get to a certain spot, and he says, we need to divert to this airport, and so you got to figure out what heading you need to fly, how far it is to get there, and how long that's going to take you, and then tell him when you get there. So Yeah, it would probably be a little bit of a challenge for me to do it now without any of the electronic stuff. But yeah, it was that was an interesting experience. My private pilot check ride. We did that. He had me divert, and I figured out where I needed to go and how long it was going to take me, and I timed it and everything. And we get to my time, and I'm like, I'm looking at the map, and
Hmm.
all the landmarks I can see and my time say we should be right on top of this airport, but I could not find it. And so he's like, "Oh, let me have the controls for a minute." And he goes and he does a circle around this farm, and he's like, "You see that little road leading out of the farm?" He's like, "Yeah, that's the runway."
Oh no.
It didn't even look like an airport. He was trying to trick me.
Right. Yeah, there's a private strip that looks like that out here, not too far out on one of our highways, out on 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is kind of weird. Yeah. Now
Yep.
during these check rides, now can you use all those things like for flight, or is that not allowed? Is it all gonna be, the old fashioned way, or do you know?
I don't know the answer. That probably depends a little bit on the DPE, and maybe also on the check ride. For private pilot, I would be inclined to say that they would not allow as much use of that because
All right.
you need to show that you can navigate by what we call pilotage and dead reckoning, which is navigating without any sort of electronic aids. Um,
That makes
but
sense.
for like instrument, most people use an EFB like for flight on your iPad to hold all your charts and everything. So I would think at least that would be allowed. Whether or not they allow your GPS location on there, I'm not sure. It might depend on the DP. But
Yeah, that makes sense because they want to make sure you know how to do it. Like I said, if you didn't have access to, or that went out, and then all you had was your gauges left, because I guess they don't want that to be like a crutch. I guess maybe.
right, yeah, that's part of the
Yeah,
check, right? They're not saying don't ever use it. They're saying you need
right,
to prove that you know how to do it if everything fails.
exactly. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because I mean that is a ton of responsibility. You're talking thousands of feet in the air. If you don't really know what's going on, then
Yeah,
that would not be a good situation at all. So,
right.
mm-mm.
Yep.
So all right, let's see here. I think I pretty much all the ones I have that listed at this time. I was going to ask you. I'm sure they're probably thinking more. I'll just have to hit you up on another social media or something like that. But
Yeah.
so, well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. It's been fun. Learned a little bit, and everything. And do you have a new video coming out soon?
I've been really busy with just kids and summer and took a yeah, I had a really busy late spring, early summer here. So yeah, I've got one I'm working on, but I'm just in the early stages of it.
Okay.
At some point, probably the end of July, I have one that will release that I did for POPA, Pilatus Owners and Pilots Association. It's um, a remake of my walk around video, a little more detailed and per the POH. So yeah, that one will be coming out at some point. I'm hoping I'll get another one finished, another like vlog style one finished before that one goes live, but we'll see. Summer
Yeah,
can
I
be
like.
pretty busy.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I bet I like to see that playing up close sometime. I think, like, if you're back down this area, whatever, I get up that way sometime. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. If you ever get up here to Goshen, hit me up. If I'm around, I can probably make it out to show you the airplane, and we'll probably be down to Marion again. So yeah, and let you see it down there sometime, maybe if it
That,
works.
that'd be great. So when you normally do one of those videos, how many cameras do you normally use on those? Like,
Oh, I'm up to, let's see, I got one on the gauges, one over the wing, one over the nose, one over my shoulder, and I've been using a face cam on the last one. So 5 and sometimes
hmm.
6. If I put, sometimes I'll put a 360 camera out under the wing if it's a
Oh,
short flight.
okay. Yeah, that's where a lot of editing comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, go piece this and I got to piece that one together. Yeah, I was just wondering about that because I see a lot of different angles on the videos, and I think that's another reason I really enjoy them. Because you see, you're not just it's not just a static shot, head on or on a wing or whatever.
Yeah.
makes it nice to get that different perspective, I guess, on the when you're watching those. So
Right. Yep. Yeah, it is nice to have the options and be able to show certain things, but it does add time. Every camera I add adds another layer of complexity to editing. So
absolutely, yeah. Well, like I said, if you're familiar with editing, like I said, it's probably easier to you, but that kind of that's where the time's actually at. I think is in doing that, because normally just a lot of editing I do, which is not a whole lot. I splice a few things here and there, add some things here and there, but I don't make have a lot of fancy B-roll or anything like that. So, and that takes time, because you got to wait for the computer to do all that and put together and stuff. But
yep.
it's part of the monster, I guess, of YouTube creation.
Yep. Yep. Part of the process. Yeah. It takes a good chunk of time. I think I figure I spend 15 to 20 hours on the editing stuff.
That's not surprising. On some of these videos, it's amazing to watch. Some people get like cinematic quality. It's like, wow, it's impressive.
Yeah.
It's because I just got a little Action 4, and that's where I usually do most. Sometimes 90% of my recordings on it, and then sometimes I'll use my cell phone, but most time that's just on that Action 4. I really like that camera real well. It's a pretty good camera. It does a good job. Quality's good. The microphone's great in it. So
yeah. Do you have problems with it overheating while you're out fishing?
No, that's the thing there. That's the thing. That's what, before I was starting to get, and I bought a budget action camera, which I'd never recommend that. In fact, I was on Mike Newman's podcast not too long ago, and he does like a lot of microphone reviews and different electronic reviews and stuff. And I said, I will never buy another one of those cheap budget knockoff action cameras for like $100, because you get what you pay for. I mean, the video quality wasn't bad, but the image stabilization wasn't quite as good. But the downfall in all of those that I've heard and seen is the audio is terrible.
Yeah.
The microphone's built, because the first time I ever filmed a video of me fishing, when I'm facing away from it, you can't hear what I'm saying. It's like but you can hear every bird and splash, but you can't hear me talking. The microphones are horrible, but this Action 4 microphone is very, very good. It picks up quite a bit. And I just recently bought some wireless lavaliers that I can use so you can actually be away from the camera, not worry about whether you're facing it or not. And those work really well too. But
what brand did you go with?
The Hollyland Lark M2s.
Okay. Yeah. Have you used them yet?
Just on a test. Yeah. Have you seen these before?
No, you're frozen, so I can't see if you're holding them up. But yeah, I've been thinking about getting some lavalier mics because
Can you see that?
A dedicated recording setup. But
okay, can you see that right there?
No, you're still frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yep.
Okay, that's not good. Looks so good on my end. Just let me know when I come back, I guess.
You've been frozen for most of the show, for me anyway.
Okay. Huh.
But yeah, I've been thinking about going with something. I don't know. I guess Rode was one I was looking at. But they're a little bit pricey, but they'd be really good. And the downside of using lavalier mics. Actually, you're back now. Okay.
This is all the bigger they are. You just attach it. It's hard to see. I got a black shirt on, but it's hard to. Yeah, there's compared to my face. See how small that is? It's really small.
Yeah. Lav mics are always really small. Yeah, the Rode ones have 32-bit float, which should allow a lot more volume without clipping, like distorting your audio. Which for you isn't a problem, but for me in the airplane, it can get really loud. But the downfall of using those is the way I do it now is I just put my Apple earbuds and the little mic portion of it, I stick inside my ear cup. So what it's recording is literally what I'm hearing in the airplane. So you get some of the airplane noise and all the radio stuff. And if I hooked a splitter into it to split the audio from my headset, then I wouldn't get airplane noise. So that'd be another thing I would have to do is mix in airplane noise back into it. But yeah, I think it would. I'm having issues with my. I have an old iPad that I use to record it on, and it's a little too old, and it's not recording for all of a flight anymore. So.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, audio is important, I think, on the videos a lot. A lot of people would say, you know, people can forgive some audio or some video quality but audio quality is like, they said, no, you want to make sure that's so.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
So, all right. Well, hey, we've been going for an hour, but I appreciate it. Like, before we go, if you just want to tell everybody what social media, where they can find you at, if you want to check out some of your stuff.
Yeah. YouTube channel is youtube.com/Grant Baker, and Instagram. Oh, I got to remember my handle. It's, I think, Grant L. Baker. And I do have a merch store where you can buy this shirt and this.
I like that.
Yeah, this beer glass and that mug back there. So there's a few things on there, and that's grantbaker.shop.
Okay.
So yeah, you can reach out to me at pilatusgrant@gmail.com if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to answer questions. So
yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. So thanks again for coming on, and hope you have a good 4th. Everything's safe, and enjoy that ice cream out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy 4th.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of that.
Right. It's going to be good.
I bet. All right. Thanks again, Grant, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
All right. That'll end the podcast for tonight. We appreciate Grant for coming on. A lot of interesting stuff going on. I hope it wasn't freezing on your end. I'll have to check this out when I get down, make sure everything's good on this end. So again, thanks for everybody for watching, and have a good 4th. And until next time, remember, always make it a great day.